Hello everyone, welcome to Living the Mainliness, an exhibition of feminist art. Here we are presenting the women discrimination. As everybody knows, women discrimination is a social problem that takes relevance in recent years. It's an ideology that includes diverse set of attitudes, behaviors, social practice, and beliefs that consist on minimize, oppressed, and sexualized women for the simple fact of the gender. The objective of this exhibition is to show the audience what are the ways the women artists have shaped their thoughts, ambitions to raise the voice, and show what kind of oppression they have lived all this time and how necessary it is to change the attitudes of a strong sense of masculine pride and the stereotypes that have been imposed for many years, which threaten the lifestyle of the modern young people in their education and their professional formation. Here we have a performance of Ana Mendieta named Until It or named otherwise Blood Saint Number 2 Body Tracks from 1974. Her double nationality allows her to share positions with the movements that were take relevance, the race of minorities and feminism. In this performance of 120 minutes of duration, she goes marking strokes that leave a trace on a wall. Using her body as a paintbrush reflected that she looks out to leave a mark in the world. Remains of a courageous woman. Also, the use of blood helped exhibit more of a simple outline. It is the suffering of a person who lives humiliation, exhaustion, or the condition of women in an oppressive society. She wants to demonstrate that despite the machined ideals, all women could emerge and confront this type of principles to go beyond in their life. On the other hand, we have this artwork of Tracy Emin named Sad Shower in New York from 1995 in a technique of monoprint of paper. In most of the artworks of feminine artists, it is looked out to be a sharp criticism about how the lifestyles of women are affected of macho behavior. This with the purpose to raise consciousness in people about how their actions can have an impact in others. Emin expressions are uncomfortable to others to see because it shows the sadness, lonely, and suffering that most of the women are living, but they do not want to show for fear of regression and ridicule. This work, although it is a simple drawing, reveals the experience Emin had on a New York trip. The draw could perfectly reflect the result of how pressure to show a female image and attitude to feel the expectation of others impinge on women, preventing them from self-releasing freely.
The video exemplified a woman trying to access an office building by a staircase. Behind her is a man with a rope, occasionally climbing a few steps, throwing the rope to catch her and pulling her back, for him to climb at his pace or faster. And every time the woman exceeded, the man will use the rope. She is being slowed down by the man who managed to prevent her from rising before him, and in this way, he achieves to enter the office building first. This way, preventing the woman from entering the building and blocking her path. The objective of the video is to elude the discrimination that women are still suffering in the workplace, to confront them and to show the injustice that is still lived in the present, since it is more difficult for women to ascend in their work than to a man, to demonstrate how society pulls the women and prevent them from going up, so that the place that a woman would have, a man would have it first. An artist who uses her own body in montages that stir conscience. She has buried herself in various piles. Sometimes it's mud, other times rocks. But the intention of her project is to humanize and create conscience and make a strong impression to project the women who lost their lives in a cruel way, women victims of sexist violence. In this particular performance, she turned the interior of a gallery into a desert, using sawdust instead of sand, in which she remains buried in the dunes, to represent the oppression towards women by the macho society in which we live. She is originally from Guatemala, who has one of the highest feminism rates in the world. She is dared to make a change and try to show how outrageous, cruel, and shocking this is. This has spread over the world and some murders have gone unpunished. So she hopes that they will not be isolated in nothingness, that they will be heard.
This work is a critique of the low participation of women on museum exhibitions, despite playing a central role in an experimental American art of the 1970s. It represents the discrimination that women suffer in the work environment. It tells the story of hundreds of women who suffer exclusion in their work every day for exactly the same work that men do. This work is a great example of political art because guerrilla girls change the discourse to demand the government equal rights and to expose the reality that women are living. No matter what time we're talking about, women had suffered this every day. Guerrilla Girls is one of the most important feminist groups that fight against the sexual and racial discrimination in the art world. This is why we consider it important to include them in this contemporary exposition. The objective of the work was to create an image which can demonstrate the abuses of power that women have suffered through history, in particular the subjugation of women. Nancy Spiro only used women in this painting because, in her own words, to see what it means to view the world through the depiction of women. The artist represents the womanhood and she wants to share the audience how necessary it is to change the posture, and she invites the viewers to the empowerment of women through the painting, specifically in the women figures and the way they are painting. That is, the poses of freedom in which are painting. Spiro used a rhythmic syntax on the rebellious female spirit. This work will show the history of how women had been discriminated through the years, and it is an invitation to eradicate this discrimination. Also, it is an invitation to join the revolution in 21st century, where women demand equality.
From Guerrilla Girls, we have the piece Do Women Have to Be Naked to Get into the Met Museum? This is a screen print on paper that shows a female body with a gorilla mask on her head and a text that says the same as the name of this piece, and a subtext that says that less than 5% of the artists in the modern art section are women, but 85 of the nudes are female. This is a movement against the curator Kinston McShane, which said that who is in charge of this work should rethink his actions about what he is protesting about, and what guerrilla girls want to express in this movement is that there's there the, it's indeed we need equality in every aspect of society as art too. Then we have the feminist Russian collective Pussy Riot that made a performance during the 2018 FIFA World Cup final in which they invade the field dressed as cops. This as a statement expressing that in Russia they have some policies about the governmental force that can break your life, well, can break your privilege as a human being for national purposes, and which you cannot have any right to fight. And this is a statement that this group of girls have been fighting in many different ways, and dress as cops in the final made a statement of, okay, if I am a cop, I can do what I want, even though we are in a important event as is the World Cup final, which has the most expecting views event.
Our art proposal has other means, but not just to stand in a museum. It's to be stared and recognized by people. With these pieces, we realize how we live machismo in our daily lives. And maybe we do not notice all, Sometimes it's subtle, or we are used to it, but that doesn't mean it's okay. We want to show the audience how women had to fight against this violence over time, and that we shouldn't accept any kind of discrimination. We want to create awareness of that. We want to generate an impact on society to produce a change. It is necessary to make a change. Avoid attitudes of strong sense of masculine pride and the stereotypes that have been imposed for many years. Empower women and create conscious about this subject.